So, say first time, when we start.
CC number E011 of 2024. Mzalendo Kibunja.
Yes.
Canvas Ogalo Opija. Yes. Number 7, Oscar Mwaura trading as Artacoms Enterprises. Q's number 8, Florab Technical Services. Florab Technical Services. Count number 1.
Prosecution.
Your Honor, for the record, I do appear alongside Mr. Masago.
Good morning.
Let me go up. Go up for the building. Go as Gigo.
Count number 1, conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption, A3, as read with section 48 of a SEC. Canvas number 2, Canvas Ogalo. Number 3, Oscar Abel. Number 4, Lucy Ongata. And number 5, Oscar Mwaura. And 1st February 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being public officers employed by National Museum of Kenya, the Director General, the Director Human Resource and Administration, Payroll ICT Officer, and Payroll Accountant respectively, and a private individual conspired to commit a corruption Stanvas Ogalo,
Your Honor, not true.
Oliver Rabuol,
Your Honor, not true.
Wycliffe Ongata,
Not true, Your Honor.
Oscar Mwaura.
Not true, Your Honor.
Rabuol, Wycliffe Ongata, and Oscar Mwaura between 1st February 2022 and 1st July 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being public officers employed by National Museum of Kenya, to with the Acting Director General and the Director Human Resource and Administration, Payroll ICT Officer, Payroll Accountant, respectively, and a private individual conspire to commit a corruption offense, namely embezzlement of 49 Kenya shillings 49,885,476, being public funds fraudulently paid as salaries and gratuity to persons purportedly employed by the National Museum of Kenya. Is it true, or not true? Stanvas Ongalo,
Your Honor, not true.
Oliver Rabuol, Wycliffe Ongata, Oscar Mwaura. Count number 3, abuse of office contrary to section 46 as read with section 48 of ASECA, number 3 of 2 or 3, particulars being Mzalendo Kibunja between June 2016 and 1st February 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being the Director General of National Museums of Kenya, a person whose functions concern the administration of public revenue. You used your office to improperly confer a benefit of 441,392.75 shillings as salaries and gratuity to persons purportedly employed by the National Museums of Kenya. Is it not or not true?
Your Honor, not true.
Count number 4, in respect to accused number 2, abuse of office contrary to section 46 as read with section 48 ASECA, number 3 of 2 of 3, particulars of the offense February 2022 and 1st July 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being acting Director General and the Director Human Resources and Administration at the National Museums of Kenya, a person whose functions concern the administration of public revenue. You used your office to improperly confer a benefit of Kenya shillings 49,885,476 to persons purportedly employed by the National Museums of Kenya. Is it true or not true?
Your Honor, not true.
As read with section 16 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2009. Particulars of the offense being Mzalendo Kibunja, Okinyi, Rabuol, Wycliffe Odhiambo Ogata, trading as Galmalik Enterprises Limited, Oscar Mwaura, trading as Altcoms Limited, between July 2016 and June 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being the Director General, the Director Human Resource Administration, and the Acting Director General, Payroll ICT Officer, and the Payroll Accountant, respectively, at the National Museums of Kenya. You jointly and knowingly entered into an agreement to include names of persons purportedly as employees of National Museums of Kenya in the payroll of the said National Museums of Kenya, whereupon the sum of Kenya shillings 491,214,551 was paid as salaries and gratuity, while having reason to believe that the said monies formed proceeds of crime. Is it true or not true, Mzalendo Kibunja?
Your Honor, not true.
Stanvas Ogalo Opijo,
Your Honor, not true.
Oliver Okinyi Rabuol,
Not true, Your Honor.
Wycliffe Odhiambo Ogata, trading as Galmalink Enterprises Limited,
Not true, Your Honor.
Oscar Mwaura, trading as Altcoms Limited.
Not true, Your Honor.
Count number 6 in Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2009. Particulars being Wycliffe Odhiambo Ongata, trading as Galmalink Enterprises Limited, between June 2016 and June 2022 within the Republic of Kenya, being the sole proprietor of Galmalink Enterprises Limited, acquired the sum of 14,560,446 from Oscar Mwaura and Victor Owuor, while knowing that the said money formed part of proceeds of crime acquired from National Museums of Kenya, unlawfully paid as salaries and gratuity to persons purportedly employed by the National Museums of Kenya. Is it true or not true, Wycliffe? Count number 7 in respect to accused number 3 and number 8. Acquisition of proceeds of crime contrary to section 4 as read with section 16 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act 209. Particulars being Oliver Okinyi Rabur and Florab Technical Services Limited between June 2016 and June 2022 within the Republic of Kenya, being the director of Florab Technical Services Limited, a private limited company, acquired 5,002,500 shillings, while knowing that the said money formed part of proceeds of crime acquired from the National Museums of Kenya, fraudulently paid salaries and gratuity to persons purportedly employed by the National Museums of Kenya. Is it true or not true, Oliver Okinyi Rabo? Florab Technical Services. Count.
However, Your Honor, we pray that for reasons that this is a public interest case, the amounts of sums involved are colossal in nature. The seriousness of the offense is placing the accused person's honor, and the attendant penalty should they be convicted. We are praying, Your Honor, that they be released subject to the accused person depositing the travel documents to court, and further, they should be warned from interfering with the witnesses, Your Honor, once the issue is witnessed or the disclosure is done.
Your Honor, I would plead with these honorable courts to consider favorable terms of bail for the first accused. For the reasons that the first accused is worked for the government of the Republic of Kenya for well over 30 years. And he has done so diligently. He has never been previously implicated with any form of impropriety, particularly of corrupt nature. He is not at all a flight risk. As we speak, he has already deposited his travel documents with the authorities. As and when he has been required to appear before the he has diligently done so. And we believe that the first offense is a victim of circumstances. And we pray grants him some favorable terms of bail. That which is not punitive, so that inasmuch as the amount claimed appears to be colossal, it is not a justification whatsoever for a court to proceed as though there is a presumption of guilt. It is a trite principle of criminal law that everybody must be presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. I therefore beseech these honorable courts to consider some favorable terms of bail in favor of the first accused. That is all, Your Honor.
By the prosecution, we just want to emphasize that the court should not lose sight of the presumption of guilt, respectively of the amount involved. You know, the second accused has been on suspension since June last year. And all this time he's been cooperating with the investigators. He has even been requested by his employer to go and assist here and there once in a while, and he has accepted to do so, despite being on suspension. That's an act of good faith, Your Honor. Your Honor, the second accused was at home in Kakamega as of yesterday, and he was requested to report to EACC Bungoma. He did so immediately, Your Honor, and that is why he's here in court. He did so voluntarily. He was not arrested.
Sentiments by my learned colleagues who have spoken before me. Even as I express my gratitude to the prosecution for not opposing bond or cash bail options. Prosecution has not opposed bond. The conditions, Your Honor, that have been asked or have been placed, Your Honor, would amount to actually telling this court in no uncertain terms not to grant bond to the accused persons. Your Honor, you've not been told the categorization in law that you are to use, that you're actually to use to discriminate, because that's what you're being asked to do, as against the subjects before you, the accused persons before you. The law only talks about capital offenses and the other offenses. So that, Your Honor, what you are being asked today is to introduce a category not known to law. whereby everyone who will ever be charged in this court, Your Honor, a new category will have been introduced. Discriminate against them. Despite what my brothers and sisters have said, the doctrine of innocence, which is constitutional. Your Honor, to even take it further, you have been told to look at the seriousness of the offense. Such that even on that categorization alone, we have what we call capital offenses, felonies, and misdemeanors. Which category are you? Which category is this that tells us seriousness? This is a very serious offense, even if you look at the Act. So that we now know we have this new categorization of matters that will come before you. Your Honor, look at the charge sheet itself at the time that you are rendering your decision. You will notice that this charge sheet, if that is the categorization that you will use, it means the prosecution can charge you even with 50 counts, anything under the Act. Yet we have the doctrine of double jeopardy in the Constitution. You cannot be punished for this, for two offenses or three offenses which occurred at the same time. The doctrine of double jeopardy is actually at play at this particular point, so that when you look at that alone and you are to be convinced, Your Honor, I'm very sure that without these submissions, Your Honor, the resultant bond or cash bail terms, Your Honor, will be quite high. I actually saw the lady before us with a cash bail of $1 million. So I'm even shocked if now you are told to consider it will actually be out of their reach. Your Honor, if you look at the aspect of the fourth and fifth accused, this is just a payroll officer, a payroll accountant, Your Honor. It has been submitted in that particular document. So that if we are to assume that this, the bond will be commensurate to what the terms that are here, Your Honor, outrightly you are being asked to say that they are guilty. That's the only way, Your Honor, you will consider, and the High Court has spoken about this. That's the only way you will consider and grant terms, looking at the amounts that are on the charge sheet, Your Honor. And that then will be offending that very sacred doctrine of innocence. Because what if they are eventually found to be innocent? We have seen this same prosecution withdrawing cases in this court, and you have spoken about it, after they have charged people, and used the same words, English words, punish them at this particular point. Your Honor, you'll have punished themselves and any Kenyan who will find themselves in that particular dock. And none of us is immune. I always say that. Whatever we will do to them will actually be done unto us. Even prosecutors can find themselves there. And the fact that you're being told public interest, which matter is not a public interest matter. That's why it's the republic. Every criminal matter has a republic. So this issue of being told, Your Honor, public interest is a way of still convincing you, Your Honor, to shut your eyes on the doctrine of innocence. This is where Pontius Pilate found himself when he was actually making a decision on Jesus Christ. Public interest. Your Honor, I actually urge you not to be convinced by that. Let these people be out. Like my client was actually not even summoned. He went yesterday. After seeing the press release, he took himself to EACC in the morning. Was not arrested, was not even summoned. So this is the person you are being told, ensure you have very hefty bond or cash bail terms. What are we doing to the society? If someone has walked, at the point where the prosecution will prove its case, if it ever will be, then the punishment will be meted. We cannot start punishing people here. And this court, this very court has spoken about that issue. I beg this court to look at that particular part. And in giving us bond or cash bail options, the fourth and the fifth, Your Honor, are one and the same. I will be begging, Your Honor, that cash or bond option be consolidated so that it's not taken as two separate persons. There's always that confusion if it's not clarified, Your Honor. Lastly, Your Honor, I pray that the prosecution do avail to us copies of the charge sheet, which they've not done even as I'm speaking. All documentary evidence and any nature of evidence that they intend to use as against the accused person, so that we start also appreciating what they have, even as you give your directions. That is all, Your Honor. Thank you for the time.
I have carefully considered the submissions made by the prosecution and the defense in relation to the bond terms, and I hereby make the following orders. Now, each accused person may be released on a cash bail of Kenya shillings 5 million or a bond of Kenya shillings 10 million, one surety like amount. Each accused is hereby ordered to deposit his travel documents with the court. They may get them whenever they want to travel outside the country. They'll seek leave of the court. Now, upon disclosure of evidence, none should make any attempt to contact any of the witnesses. The cash bail bond terms for accused number 4 and number 5 stand consolidated as requested by counsel. The matter shall be mentioned on 2nd June 2024 for pre-trial conference and allocation before court number 1. 3 and 8. So I think we should consolidate. Let me repeat, let me clarify. So the orders are as follows. Number 1, each accused person may be released on a cash bail of Kenya shillings 5 million or a bond of Kenya shillings 10 million, one surety like amount. Number 2, each accused is hereby ordered to deposit his travel documents with the court. Number 3, upon disclosure, none of the accused persons should make any attempt to contact witnesses. Number 4, bond terms for accused number 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, and 8 are hereby consolidated. The matter shall now be mentioned on 2nd June 2024 before court number 1. May 2024 before court number 1 for pre-trial conference. May. Niende wakilie. Kilo saa 5 imefika. For pre-trial with me.
2024. Endo Kibunja. Canvas Ogalo Opija. Rabuol.
Yes.
Accused number 4, Wycliffe Odhiambo Ogata.
Present.
Accused number 5, Wycliffe Odhiambo Ogata, trading as Galmaling Enterprises.
Present.
Accused number 6, Oscar Mwaura. Accused
You appear for the first accused.
Good morning. G.O. Another place in India.
Yes,
My name is Okach. I do appear for the 4th and the 5th accused persons.
Point number 1, conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption contrary to section 47A3 as read with section 48 of ASECA number 3 of 203. Particulars of the offense being accused number 1, Museums Kibunja, Stanvas number 2, Stanvas Ogalo, number 3, Oliver Abol, number 4, Wycliffe Ongata, and number 5, Oscar Mwaura, between January 2016 and 1st February 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being public officers employed by National Museum of Kenya, to wit the Director General, the Director Human Resource and Administration, Payroll ICT Officer, and Payroll Accountant respectively, and a private individual conspired to commit a corruption offense, namely embezzlement of Kenya shillings 441,392,75 shillings. Is it true or not true, Mzalendo Kibunja? Stanvas Ogalo,
Your Honor, not true.
Oliver Abwal,
Your Honor, not true.
Wycliffe Ongata,
Not true, Your Honor.
Oscar Mwaura.
Not true, Your Honor.
In respect to accused number 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption contrary to section 47A3 as read with section 48 ASECA number 3 of 203. Particulars being Stanvas Ogalo, Oliver Rabuol, Wycliffe Ongata, and Oscar Mwaura between 1st February 2022 and 1st July 2022 within Nairobi City County in the Republic of Kenya, being public officers employed by National Museum of Kenya, to wit the Acting Director General and the Director Human Resource and Administration, Payroll ICT Officer, Payroll Accountant respectively, and a private individual conspire to commit a corruption offense, namely embezzlement of Kenya shillings 49,885,476, being public funds fraudulently paid as salaries and gratuity to persons purportedly employed by the National Museum of Kenya. Is it true or not true, Stanvas Ogalo?
Your Honor, not true.
Oliver Abol,
Not true, Your Honor.
Wycliffe Ongata,
Not true, Your Honor.
Oscar Mwaura.
Not true, Your Honor.
Count number 3, particulars being Mzalendo Kibunja between June